Welcome back everyone to the State of the Nation. More on USAID and its alleged nefarious activities, especially here in Sri Lanka. Now, the Trump administration sought to limit USAID's influence due to concerns about its leadership and activities. President Donald Trump and Elon Musk both expressed strong criticism of USAID, with Trump referring to its leadership as radical lunatics and Musk calling it a criminal organization that should be dismantled. The restrictions imposed by the Trump administration aim to prevent USAID from interfering in sovereign affairs and engaging in activities that could be perceived to be as meddling in internal affairs. Now, as a result of the crackdown, organizations dependent on USAID funding, such as NGOs and journalistic outlets, faced financial uncertainty due to cuts in funding, which in certain instances a very good thing, as organizations that were not doing the humanitarian work and engaging as a phase organization for underhand agendas were closed down. But in some instances, even organizations that were doing good work helping communities too were affected by this. Now, the move to curb USAID's influence signals a shift in U.S. foreign policy towards a more self-governing approach, moving away from interventionist strategies that was the earlier mode of operation. Now, this is why Americans voted, right? They voted for a president who cares about them first and put the rest of the other nations secondary, or asking them to take care of themselves. Let's get some more insights. Joining me now is former Human Rights Commissioner Dr. Prathibha Mahanamahewa. Thank you very much, Doctor. Appreciate your time. First of all, a lot of money spent by USAID all over the world and here in Sri Lanka as well. Now, we are learning that this funding is more towards changing minds rather than developing the quality of life of Sri Lankans. What are your views on this?
Well, Mahieash, we have seen the new president, Honorable Donald Trump, had taken a wise decision and a directive. That is where USAID funded several projects all over in the world had stopped, and it will really affect non-government organizations, those who are receiving the funds. And also USAID has pumped several billion of dollars for other countries as well as Sri Lanka. So what was the purpose? Was that real percentage was used for the purpose or for changing? According to my opinion, maybe 90% of the funds of these USAID may have used for their purposes to develop a country as well as their legal system as other development agendas. But we have seen 10% or 20% most probably had gone to different mindsets change and also overthrowing government which are against USA and to set up a system. So these 20% or 10%, I cannot say. So you must see a proper investigation and audit and a forensic investigation. You can realize how much they have spent for those things. So the first of all, we have to see how much we receive, for what purpose they have used that, to overthrow a government, to change the mindset, to support the opposition, to support the government, to support the rebel groups, different ways we can see. So USA from their country, even removing their board is not enough. They must start an investigation and ask from the officers. The Trump government must appoint a commission, special commission comprising Senate and Congress members, and see how they have utilized this money and what are the advantages for US. That's why we have to see. Most probably the world police person is USA, but the Trump government has changed many things, and we can see UNHRC this time. First of we have seen US supporting for Russia and other countries. So likewise, the world dimension are different. For those things, no need money. So why those earlier governments has spent money must see a proper investigation and find out. Sri Lanka cannot do investigation because Sri Lanka several institutions they have received that money. But from US side, US embassy, they must take this positive view and observe on this matter.
Doctor, now one of the biggest questions that's now been revealed, especially with the Trump administration uncovering US aid, has been a phased operation of CIA in order to run covert operations that led towards change of governments the world over that were democratically elected. You think Sri Lanka is a victim of that as well?
Yes, there are allegations how those fronts were funded, how those fronts and the specifically this type of organization came forward and went against the legal established government. Mahieash, I can tell one thing, you know, to do a struggle like this, someone has fund. And we have seen trains and other things for the transportation, food, and all they may have. But we don't have proper evidence for that. Certain money, those who had taken, vanished before the changing of the government. So many allegations are coming up. So we must see how these USAID funds were deposited in several accounts, for what purpose they have done. Even after doing that, what is the purpose? Can they punish? Now let's see, maybe those funds may be unnecessary spent or overthrow government, not only in Sri Lanka, maybe Pakistan, Bangladesh, several countries this may have. But finally, what is the result? Who is going to punish? You can't do anything at the moment. This is all something lesson learned. This is a lesson learned for the future and see to utilize these funds in a proper purpose. Even in many funds given by other organizations, 20% they go for various other unnecessary things. But in future, you have to be very careful with funding for these organizations.
Doctor, going forward, do you think it's necessary to investigate USAID operations in Sri Lanka?
Definitely, because Sri Lanka, we have a ministry which is looking the registration of NGOs and maybe other different fundamental, religious organizations are there. We don't know for what motive they are running. Even today, I heard that in some area in the eastern province, intelligence has got some of these, suspect terrorist or activities can come up. I don't know 100%. It has to be proved by the Ministry of Defense. But I can tell one thing, very neatly, you must investigate all accounts or you must give a, basically period that is called internationally, we have seen basically amnesty period for the NGOs and disclose honestly for what purpose these funds are. If they are true, then nothing to worry. But if there are some hidden agendas, must take some action. Definitely, you must take some.
Thank you very much. Let's leave it at that. That was Dr. Prathibha Mahanamahewa, former Human Rights Commissioner. Appreciate it.